My name's Nicholas Gentile. I'm 32 years old. I'm an academic lecturer, and recently, in the last 12 months, I started a new position as the artistic director of a company called Pacific Ocean Partners. I've been really interested in property ever since I was quite young. Things like renovations always really fascinated me, probably fulfilled the creative side of myself. Not that we did many renovations in my family. Came from very humble beginnings. Didn't really, my family weren't property investors or anything like that. But I was friends with a lot of people who renovated their homes. And I sort of got the property bug very early on. But being a musician, and with that being my primary source of income, it was never really a possibility to get started in property investing. But I partnered up with my brother, who's also a music teacher, and we bought our first two investment properties together back in like 2016 first, and then 2018. I'd read Eddie's book, 30 Properties by 30, and I'd just seen, I subscribed to his YouTube channel, and I just found him very inspiring because I grew up in a very similar area. I think he was from Mount Druitt, and I'm from Penrith. And just the way he described his family situation really resonated with me because I can relate 100%. I didn't come from any money. There was not going to be any generational wealth passed on, unlike the majority of my friends circle who knew there would come a time in their 30s and 40s where they would come into a lot of assets. I knew that was never going to be an option for me. So I had to act and do it myself. So I just found him very inspiring. I found his videos very inspiring. And his book was a really, really good read. It was very, I think he wrote it for the everyday Australian, so it just felt like you were having a chat with someone at the pub. It wasn't overly academic or anything like that. It was really, really easy to understand, and just demystified a lot of stuff, which conquers fear, I think, in early investors. So I reached out via the website, got my first free consultation and sort of got the ball rolling, and then decided to proceed with him as the buyer's agent. The overall experience was really, really smooth, really easy. I had my own mortgage broker who's a friend of mine. So I came to Eddie with pre-approval, ready to go. And I really, really engaged with him more as just as the buyer's agent to kind of source those, the appropriate properties based on my budget and my goals. But we had a couple of really good chats, sort of where we did our goal setting and sort of made a plan for what it could look like over the next 4 to 5 years, and then got more specific on the current acquisition that we proceeded with, which ended up being a 3-bedroom townhouse in Queensland, which was an off-market purchase. We got it for a killer price, and it looks like it's already done quite well. We only settled in February. Since working with Eddie Dilleen so far, we've acquired one 3-bedroom townhouse. I want to be able to learn how to do this stuff without the need for buyer's agents all the time. But there just aren't enough hours in the day. And so I'll definitely be moving ahead working with the Dilleen Property team more, because it was a solid investment, and it was the first. It's my 4th property. This particular one I just got with Eddie, but it's the best performing immediately. So I think it highlighted what I couldn't do on my own, and so I'm looking forward to the next. I keep my everyday expenses really, really low because at the moment I feel like, and for the next 5 or 6 years, I feel like I'm going to definitely be in this sort of acquisition mode and building up the portfolio. So I just plan on saving as much as I can. But what I haven't done so far yet, for all of my properties that I have in my portfolio, they've been cash deposits that I've saved up. But how I'm going to move forward from here is come July next year, when I come off some fixed interest rates, I shall refinance and look to purchase a few more properties using the equity out of the various properties that I have. I know for myself, I mean, people say do your due diligence. And I certainly did that, I feel. But it's really easy to get lost in all of the noise, I think. And there's a lot of self-professed gurus out there. The reason I went with Eddie Dilleen is because he has over 70 properties. It's a proven track record that he walks the walk and not just talks the talk. So I think I think everyone needs to build a solid team around them. And if your team aren't walking the walk, then I'd probably question if they're the right fit, you know. And so every property that Eddie presented to me ticked all of my goals. And then I was able to get his, personal opinion on what he would do in my position. And I trust it. So I think, if you can find someone like Eddie, that'll be a good head start.